how's it going? In this video today, I want to do part 2 of our winter change out for the estate planters that are in the front of our property, and I also want to do a little winter Christmas decorating on our front porch. So you might remember I did a vlog where I showed you the first phase of this project, where I cleaned out everything that was in there from the summertime, and I put in big branches and I put fairy lights on them, and they're so pretty. We've been enjoying the lights so much, but it's finally time to get the greens put in around the base of the branches, so I think it's going to be really pretty and finally finished looking. They've been sitting there looking like this for a couple of weeks. So let me show you what I got to put in them. So there are my piles. Got some beautiful pine, got some fir, and that's actually all one piece, like one big chunk. And then we've also got some red twig dogwood branches, which I may or may not be using in these containers. And then just to give you kind of a recap, let me get my shadow off of it. I removed the evergreen and the petunias that were in here, and then I just dropped a cinder block down in the hole that was left by the evergreen root ball. And that has become my anchor for all of these branches, which they're in there like, they're in there really tight. We've had a couple of major windstorms since I've put these in, and they have stayed put. I've also got fairy lights twisted around several of the branches. There's my plug-in menagerie right there, but it's worked out great. So we went up to the hills yesterday. It was a gorgeous day, overcast. It actually snowed while we were up there, and Aaron and I just got out by ourselves. We had like a little date drive. My mom had Benjamin for the morning, and it was perfect because a crew had just gone through to clear the brush off the side of the road, like maybe 10 feet back, and they also went vertically. So anything that was like encroaching on the road, they just like cut straight up the tree, and it kind of made the trees look a little sad, but we were able to utilize a lot of the stuff that would have just gone to waste. So we just kind of picked stuff off the side of the road. It took us about like 10-15 minutes to fill the truck, which was amazing. I also have a few rose hips out in my own garden that I might go cut if I decide I want a little bit more color. I just kind of want to keep this a little bit more simple. I don't need to have a whole lot of flash up here because Aaron's got a ton of Christmas lights going on. So I think just having some really pretty greens to make it look kind of wintertime will be perfect. So here's the plan. I've got my loppers out here and my Felcos, and I'm just gonna start cutting branches and pushing them into the soil, which I was a little bit nervous because we got a bunch of rain yesterday, and then it froze last night. So I was kind of worried that the soil would be all frozen, but it's not. So it's perfect. I can get the branches in without any problem. So this process should not take very long. That's why I'm hoping to get the front porch done as well today. And there's a garland and wreath seminar going on down at the garden center today, so I'm hoping to take Benjamin down there to visit my parents and just kind of like join in on the festivity. So let's get started on this. One is pretty much done. Until I really get the second one done, I won't know, because I'll probably have to fuss with this a little bit to make them look semi like equal. We've got a rustle in this one over here. What are you doing? Does the sun feel nice? Hey. So now I'm gonna get started on the second one. So I thought I would stop quick and kind of show you the first part of my process. I start with the fir branches first because they're the most bulky, and I just disperse those around the container and just mess with them until I like the way they look. And then I go in with pine because it's a little bit more drapey. It's easier to fill in with these type of branches. They're much more flexible. And then in the end, I did go in with some red dogwood, so I'll be doing the same in this pot. And there it is, all done with the red twig. It's really simple, but really effective, I think. I used up every last bit of fir that I had, but I have quite a bit of pine. Yeah, I have quite a bit of pine and red twig dogwoods left over, which is awesome because I do have quite a number of pots left that I still want to put some evergreens in. I have been asked quite a number of times how I get my branches to stay put in the soil, like if there's a big windstorm. Mine are not 100% immune. I mean, I do lose some evergreens every once in a while, but I make sure to leave a pretty long stem so I can stick it as far down into the soil as I can, to where it can hold on to it a little bit better. Also, this soil is pretty moist, and as soon as we get a really hard freeze and it stays frozen, all of the greens will be frozen in place, and that's typically what happens. What I'm gonna do probably later today is get a water bucket and just come in and water all these greens in. It seems kind of weird, but then it makes the soil really wet so that when it gets cold, I'll, you know, be sure that they are frozen in place. So now what I need to do is just pick up the rest of my stuff that I have left over and go put it somewhere where I can just, probably behind the barn, and then I'll utilize some of it later. And then I'm gonna start in on our front porch. So the front sun porch is the next project, and I don't plan on doing a ton, but I've got a few wreaths to put like on the sun porch doors and the main door, and then I got some new lit trees that I'm really excited to put out. You might remember that I had this area all decked out for Halloween. Like I had bats and a Halloween wreath and a boo rug and some pumpkins and stuff like that. And after Halloween was over, I removed all the Halloween inspired stuff and just left it kind of fall. Like I left all the pumpkins and squash out, and I changed the wreath over so it was just a fall wreath rather than a Halloween wreath. And it's lasted until like this last week. I just removed all of everything else except for the wreath. So I need to do a little bit of cleaning first, and then I need to go gather up my supplies to make it look more Christmas. The plants are still looking really nice. There's the kale and cabbage and the toffee twist carex. We've got some ornamental cabbage pansies, and then the dried hydrangea blooms, which I am going to be cutting all of those off here pretty quick, just the blooms. I'm going to be using them in other projects. Boxwood topiary with pansies. I will probably be taking the pansies out to put just some pine cones or something more winter looking. And then there are pansies planted here. See all the shadows, it's very bright up here right now. And then there's the other island. I have already actually did this the other night after I put Benjamin down to bed. I've got just some faux garland right here that I bought a couple of years ago, and it works really well for these stairs, and then I don't have to replace the garland through the season. And I did weave some white lights through it, so at night it looks really cute. And then when we come up here, see, I've pretty much removed everything. I've got my cleaning supplies up here. So I'm gonna be swapping out for some Christmas looking pillows, putting out some new trees, and then doing a little bit of something around these doors. So I have to do the unfun cleaning part first. Looking much better. I used the broom to knock off any cobwebs, and then also to kind of dust off the side of the house. And then I just used an old towel just dipped in water to wipe down the floor, and I did use that on the entire floor up here because it's not very big, and I wanted to be able to easily wipe down like all the moldings and the posts up here, which really needed it, as well as this iron railing, which I could honestly spend a whole bunch more time on, but I just don't have the time today. And then the steps I'm gonna leave till the very end, and I'll use the blower to blow all this stuff away, just because I know I'm gonna be dragging some more stuff up here and I don't wanna have to do it twice. So now I just need to go gather up all of my stuff, and it's all over the place. Like it's spread out inside, in the barn. There's even some supplies I need to get out behind the barn. So I'm gonna go do that really quick, and then I'll lay everything out up here before I put it all together, just to show you guys everything I'm planning to use. Gathering up supplies for me is usually more than half the battle for any project that I do, because I will almost always forget something, or I'll have to make several trips, not just one trip, like several, to different stores around town, and it takes me forever to get anything done. So I think I have most everything that I'm gonna need for this project, most of which I had from previous years. There are like 2 things that I'm adding that are different this year, so let me show you everything. Just have it all laying out in the lawn here. So here are a few pillows that I might incorporate. Now these right here, they don't look like much laying on the lawn, but these are from Plow and Hearth, and they are some really fun lit trees. So I'm gonna get those out and fluff them out and get them plugged in. I've got several different wreaths here. So there are a couple for the sun porch door, and that is the wreath for the front door. And like I said, like, it's super pretty, but I'll show you, it doesn't really shine up there. And I've got some cardinal ornaments for the twig trees, some extension cords. I've got candles for the sun porch windows. These are things that always follow me around. The paddle wire, fishing line, and thumbtacks, as well as gloves and pruners. There are my cleaning supplies on my coat because I got hot, but I'm starting to get cold again. I've got Christmas lights that were left over that I'm going to be using in some garland. And there's the garland right there. That is fresh stuff. It is going to get dry. We don't use this entryway very much, so I'm hoping that I can just get away with it. Otherwise, I might have to replace it mid-season. I've got a few more wreaths for sun porch windows and some bricks, because usually, like, see how they come with stakes? Each one of these has a set of stakes so you can stake them into the ground. But I don't have anywhere to stake them to because it's a wood surface. So I'm just gonna pile some bricks around the base, and then I've got some burlap sacks to hide the bricks. So I am just gonna get after this project. The only thing that I want to show you really quickly is how I attach the garland around the door, because that was the question we got the most last year. And I'm not sure that you're gonna be able to see it very well, but I'll kind of try to explain. So right above the door, and I'm not sure, like, I can't even see it in the screen, but there are 3 nails. There's one on this end, one in the middle, one on the far end. And what I do is I just kind of like prop my garland up kind of behind the nails, and then I put a little piece of paddle wire around the garland and then wrap it around the nail really tightly, and that usually keeps my garlands nice and secure. I hope that makes sense. The rest of everything I'm gonna do today is just like placing stuff. I'm gonna hang a couple things, just like I've got some of those command strip hook things to hang wreaths off of. This is a clear one. I've got to install another one on this door. That other one fell off last year. So it's really simple stuff, and I'm excited to see what it's gonna look like, especially this evening once it gets dark. Garland is up and it looks really pretty. I used 2 of the 15-foot garlands that you can buy at Home Depot. They're cedar, and I like to use 2 because it makes them look a little bit more bulky, and I like for them both to end like the texture to be pointing down. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you were just to use one, like, all the stuff on this side would all be pointing down, and then once you kind of turned this way and came down, everything would be flopped over like this. So since I use 2 and start each of them on the bottom and then just start to overlap, I've got some of the like floppy stuff on both sides. It just kind of matches a little bit better. Now some lights. Oh my gosh, you guys, I absolutely love this trio of trees up here. It's the perfect height and weight. Like, it's what this spot needed, and I cannot wait to show you what they look like in the evening when it's dark, because they are lit. And I haven't worked on the base yet, but you can see, I was explaining earlier that you can stake them into the ground. So see, like, they come with stakes, but clearly I can't do that here. So I just brought bricks up to just kind of line a couple of the sides of each of them, and then I'll just puddle some burlap over the bricks and kind of over my menagerie of cords, so it kind of hides that. The other fun thing is that I have these red cardinal ornaments that I'm going to pop around in the trees. I just got a few of them, which match the cardinal pillow that I already had. So other than buying the 2 garlands for this area, the trees were the only new addition. Everything else that I'm using today I already had, which I absolutely love. I love to add new stuff here and there, but it's daunting to have to like start an area from scratch. And so we just like build stuff through the years. I don't know how you guys do it, if you like go out and just outfit a whole area all at one time, or if you like to slowly build. I like to find stuff that I really love, so it's a slow process for me. So all I have left is to put the cardinals in the trees, and then I'm gonna work on the sun porch area a little bit, put the candles in the windows, hang a couple more wreaths on the door, and then I'm done with this area. It's all done. I've got wreaths in the windows as well as candles. I've got everything set and everything's working and lit. I did not tackle the containers in terms of popping the pansies out because there is still some color, and I'm just gonna hold on to that color for as long as they last, or until it snows, and then I'll probably pop those out and put pine cones in. Now I do want to give you a tour of this area once it gets dark because it's super hard to see right now because the light is so dappled, but I'll just run through it real quick so you can see some of the details in the light. So there's the garland on the rails that I already showed you. I did fix the cords though because I did have a cord running right along this little piece of molding. Didn't look that good, so I fixed that. If I go to the left here, there's the sun porch doors with two really cute cedar wreaths, which in real life are much brighter than they look in the camera right now for some reason. If we go in here, I just swapped the pillow out. I had a blue pillow on here and I put the black and cream kind of buffalo check pillow because I used that on the chair outside. I've got candles in all the windows. I will probably put some sort of an arrangement right here. I just don't have time to do that right now. I've got all the wreaths hung, and I've got those hung off of some command strips inside here, and I picked these up on sale at Joann's, like, oh boy, maybe 3 years ago. They're just cute little lightweight wreaths, and I'm gonna wait until it gets dark to turn the candles on so that it starts them on the right kind of schedule. And then as we go back out, you know, on second thought with this wreath, I kind of like it. I thought it was a little dark, and it kind of, like, it blends with the door, but it's really pretty. I really like it. And the garland turned out beautiful with the lights in it. Now the lights are something that once it's dark out, I might have to fuss with them a little bit. If like one patch looks a little bit dark, you can't really tell in the daytime. And then that is the doormat that I use pretty much year round unless I pop a seasonal one right there. And like I said, I'm on the hunt. And then there's the little cardinal pillow and the other buffalo check pillow, little throw, and then these trees, which are so glorious. I wish you guys could see all of this stuff in real life, honestly. Like, when I'm looking at it in the camera, I'm like, nah, but I'm standing here and I think that they are just amazing. Now, I have, the only electric I have up here is right inside the sun porch, so I do have cords, which, you know, what are you gonna do? I plug into the garland, it goes all the way over, and then I plug into the end of the lights with another extension cord, ran it over here, put a splitter on the extension cord so that I could plug all three of these in, which these are LED, and then plugged in another extension cord, which doesn't look great, but you don't see it unless you come up here, and that's what plugs into that garland. And I figured that this is probably safer than having it across the walkway, and honestly, I could probably do a better job of tucking it in. I'll work on that, guys. So we'll just give it a few minutes and let it get dark. The sun is starting to go down, and then I'll come back out here and we'll do another tour so you can see it with all the lights on. So there's the porch from a distance, and I think it's so pretty and sparkly. So I left the patio light on, otherwise you can't see the wreath very well, and you can't see some of Aaron's lights there on the corner. But I think I am going to light up the box of topiary that are at the base of the stairs here, because I think that'll provide a really nice end cap, just to kind of finish the whole thing off. But these trees are the most fantastic thing. These right here, they are so wonderful. In fact, Aaron and I got in the car with Benjamin and drove around our house twice so that we could take a look at them from kind of a distance. So the rest of the decor, we've got the garland, which I really like. I like the thickness of it quite a bit, as well as the chair that's always up here. I just kind of swap out pillows based on the season. And the only person who ever, well, the only thing that ever uses this chair are the cats. You can see the soft glow from those candles and the wreaths in the windows, which the wreaths you can see a lot better in the daytime. They're kind of a daytime decoration. So anyway, guys, that is it for this video. I'm super happy to have these two projects done and before December 1st, because that means we get to enjoy them for even longer. And I am going to try to get a couple of good pictures over the next day or two. Hopefully they turn out really good. So thanks so much for hanging out with me and watching this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!